Ford just hit a massive milestone in North America, and it's not what most people expected. In November 2024, they smashed their previous electric vehicle sales record, moving over 10,800 units in a single month. But here's the kicker, guys. They did it with vehicles that aren't even considered to be cutting edge. In fact, most people would say that Ford's electric vehicle lineup is just okay. Hi guys, my name's Des from the Electric Oracle, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. In these videos, we delve deep into EV market analysis and also the trends happening in the EV market. It's kind of to really help you understand where the industry is actually going. Today's story about Ford is particularly fascinating because it challenges everything we thought we knew about EV adoption in America. So let's look at the exact numbers, and I guarantee you they're probably going to shock you. Ford moved exactly 10,821 electric vehicles in November 2024. That's a 21% increase from the same time last year. But here's where it gets really interesting. They've sold over 257,000 electrified vehicles in the first 11 months of 2024. I'm not going to lie, that includes everything from pure electric, plug-in hybrids, and also hybrids. But wait, here's what most people completely missed. Ford achieved this record while actually scaling back their EV investments. They actually reduced their EV capital expenditure by 40 to 30%. Now on paper, that kind of sounds like they're pulling back from EVs, right? Well, the numbers tell a completely different story. Let me now tell you why that's significant. Let's start with the start of the show, the Mustang Mach-E. In November, Ford sold 5,983 Mach-E's. That's their best sales month ever and a 39% increase compared to last year. Did you know this makes it the second best selling electric SUV in North America? Only trailing behind, I'll let you guess, the Model Y. And just remember guys, this is a vehicle that's been around since 2021 with only a few updates, believe it or not. Now can you notice how the gap is slowly closing? This is going to be inevitable because obviously as more and more models come into the market, you'll find that more and more, outside of Tesla that is, more and more will actually gain market share. It's just inevitable. And I suppose when it comes down to it, it's down to the mainstream adoption of electric vehicles. So we talked about the Mach-E. Let's talk about America's mainstream EV, the very first one to hit the market. We're talking about the F-150 Lightning. November sales hit 3,643 units, bringing the year-to-date total to 28,313. And that's a 39% increase from last year. Now look at the trend line. It's not just going up, it's accelerating. And just remember, this is happening in what many consider the most conservative vehicle segment in America. And believe it or not, these aren't tech enthusiasts from Silicon Valley. These are largely traditional buyers switching from gas cars or ICE cars to electric. But here's the dark horse of Ford's electric stable. You've got the E-Transit. Most consumers don't even know this vehicle exists, but it's absolutely crushing it in the commercial sector. Now look, I'm a Tesla fanboy, but even I'm surprised by the figures that Ford are pulling out at the moment. Sales have actually quadrupled since last year by 11,584 units. And this isn't just a number, this is a clear signal that sales are actually increasing over time. And I suppose what we're going to realize is a lot of businesses are going to start seeing that it just makes sense to actually get an electric van rather than power an ICE van. And when you look at the difference between running an ICE commercial vehicle to a gas one, there's actually not that much difference in price to purchase one, but the actual maintenance price over the years is slowly dropping. Now let's put some of these numbers into perspective. Ford maintains its position as America's second largest EV manufacturer behind Tesla. But look, I ain't gonna lie, the competition is intensifying. GM has been gaining ground, reaching 9.5% market share in Q3, up from 7.1% in Q2. But here's what makes Ford achievement remarkable. They're actually doing this with first generation EVs. They haven't actually brought anything new out since 2021. Their charging speeds aren't really class leading, and yet they're setting sales records. And I'll tell you what guys, this tells me something really crucial is happening in the market, and a lot of people are missing this at the moment. I think it just shows that you don't need advanced technology to succeed in this business. Of course you need to have the right product and you need to have the right price point, but at the end of the day it all depends what badge is actually on the hood. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that Ford are profitable, because we all know they're not. What I'm trying to say is they are actually increasing sales, and this is what a lot of people are missing. And look, a lot of people like myself are fans of Tesla, and we all like to see what sales Tesla are doing and how much they're increasing. But Ford are actually increasing their sales as well. And at the moment, their success comes down to three things. So let's get into that. So first, you've got the Ford Power Promise program. Every new EV buyer gets a free home charger. Ford covers standard installation costs. This program was launched in October the 1st, 2024, and it removes one of the biggest barriers to EV adoption. Secondly, their focus on practical vehicles. Commercial solutions like the e-Transit are doing really well. They've also got their familiar formats like the F-150 Lightning, even though most of them are actually going onto the forecourt instead of being sold to customers, but that's a story for another day. Reasonable pricing strategies and regular improvements to existing models. And then lastly, we've got a balanced approach. There's a mix of EVs and hybrids, which are meeting customers where they are and not forcing the market. They're also building on existing customer trust. Now look, the trust that Ford has built up over the years can't be underestimated. Obviously, they are still struggling, and obviously the sales of Teslas are actually going through the roof at the moment, but there is still a strong brand there at Ford. There's a lot of people that won't purchase anything else, no matter what the cost, no matter what the features, no matter what the tech, they will not purchase something else unless it's a Ford. And there are just some people like that out there. And looking ahead, Ford's success tells us three crucial things about the EV market, and they might surprise you. First, mainstream adoption is actually accelerating. There's more people buying EVs than ever before. The only difference is it's just not in the way that people predicted. We're seeing traditional brands gaining serious traction as practical vehicles win over flashy tech showcases. Price points are finally reaching levels that make sense for average buyers. I suppose what's really interesting to me is the market is starting to mature as the first adopters are starting to actually get less and less, and the broader market is now starting to buy electric vehicles. We're now seeing conventional car buyers making the switch to electric without hesitation. And the second revelation, I've got another one, is just how big the commercial market is and how fast it's actually grown at the moment. The e-Transit's remarkable success cannot be overlooked. I think it's just because there aren't so many e-vans out there at the moment, so they're kind of making hay while the sun's still shining. Fleet operators aren't just dipping their toes anymore, they're diving in head first. With infrastructure improving daily and the total cost of ownership becoming clearer, businesses are recognizing that electric vehicles aren't just good for the environment, they're good for the bottom line. Perhaps the most fascinating shift is the shift from innovation to practicality. There are still a lot of people in the market that don't really care so much about the tech, they just care how practical the vehicle is. What we're learning is that meeting basic needs actually sells better than having the most cutting-edge technology. Reliability is trumping maximum performance, and brand trust is playing a huge role in purchase decisions. Ford's success with incremental improvements rather than revolutionary changes shows that sometimes slow and steady really does win the race. When it comes to commercial EVs, that is. Based on these trends, we can expect Ford's EV sales to continue growing, even as they take this more measured approach to electrification. Now, Ford's record-breaking month isn't just a win for Ford. It's a signal that the American EV market is maturing in a way that few predicted. While Tesla created the market with innovation and excitement, companies like Ford are making EVs accessible to the mainstream buyer. And as battery technology improves and charging infrastructure expands, these numbers will keep climbing. And yes, I know I'm going to bring it up again, they're not very profitable at the moment and they are scaling back, but the strange thing is their sales are still going up. Ford's success shows that the electric transition doesn't have to be revolutionary, it can be evolutionary, building on decades of trust and customer relationships. I truly believe this is a turning point for the American auto industry. It's not about who can make the fastest or the most advanced EV anymore, it's about who can make EVs that real people want to buy and can afford to own. So guys, what do you think about Ford's strategy? Whatever you think, please leave a comment down below. Are they actually on track with this practical approach, or should they be going with technical evolution? Who knows? But I tell you what, we're definitely going to find out in the next few years. If you found this video interesting, if you found it frustrating, or you don't agree with certain points, please leave a comment back down below. I'd love to hear what you got to say. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.